Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back, Brother Tom. How you doing today?
I'm good, my bro. What's up?
Nothing much, man. We got a lot of NBA news. We just uploaded for y'all, but we are back again. No
Trying to
ifs, ands, or buts. Like,
be over here.
we're trying to be consistent. We're bringing it back. We're motivated this time
We're
to really
motivated.
bring y'all what we can
Consistency.
bring
You
y'all.
know what I'm saying? And now we're getting back to our roots here with basketball. And I'm happy with all this news going down.
That's a fact. That's a fact. There's a lot of crap going down. We have a special for you today, too, with the NBA draft happening this week. We do have a mock draft that you're going to see later in the show. But right now, I think we have to start with the big news. Of course, James Harden wants out, and he wants to come to Brooklyn. Hey-o. Tom, how do you feel that my team's about to be the best team in the league? I just want to hear you say it.
My first reaction, and this is how much of I'll admit it, a LeBron lover I am. I'm like, damn, they really trying to get one from my man LeBron again. They don't want him to repeat. They need to stack the cards again against LeBron just to beat him. They need to have 3 superstars. And at first I was skeptical. I'm like, can he even go to Brooklyn, with the salary cap and everything? Then now it's gaining more and more steam. And it looks like he's going to go to Brooklyn. Listen, I'm not against the Brooklyn Nets. I think that's a dope city for a dope basketball team. And I love KD and Kyrie there. I was like, I'll root for them to come out the East and lose to LeBron in the finals. But
always want to lose to LeBron. Why? See, this is my issue. Everyone that's watching, my issue now. I just have to deal with so much. Everything's got to be about LeBron. We stacking it against LeBron. Why can't 3 friends just play together? Yeah. I don't understand it. Like it wasn't when 3 friends wanted to play together in Miami. We wasn't stacking against Paul Pierce.
There's no problem when they got to everyone. Oh, LeBron's a bitch. LeBron. No one likes LeBron.
I wasn't in that crowd though.
I wasn't either, but the rest of the world was.
Hey, well, the rest of the world, they got to come to us and understand shit.
Listen, I saw today it said, first the Rockets think like they're actually funny or something. They're like, we're not trading them unless we get Kyrie or KD. Like
that was the funny.
Yes, you are, and you're not getting either of them. So just stop being stupid. Like
the funny thing was, JJ texted me and said, sent me the thing that said that, and then he sent me the thing that said Kyrie doesn't want James in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, Kyrie's going to love Houston. And in all seriousness, I think it is going to be all 3 of them together. I don't think Kyrie's going to get shipped out at all. No. They're obviously not going to ship out KD. And I don't think they're going to be willing to part with DeAndre Jordan either. It came out.
We'll want DeAndre Jordan anyway.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just that KD and DeAndre are supposedly close friends, and he's the one that brought him to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I don't see any way that he just sells him out, because from what we know with KD, he doesn't like when he gets disrespected, so he doesn't seem like he's going to be a guy to disrespect someone else like that and just sell out DJ for the sake of that. But my other question to you would be, they're also thinking about bringing Serge in. How do you feel if the OKC crew gets back together in Brooklyn minus Russ and wins a bunch of championships together?
Honestly, it would hurt me. It would hurt me. It would hurt me to see them in a Brooklyn uniform without Russ, who was my favorite out of all of them, and get a ring, and then Russ is just ringless, probably playing for the Knicks or the Hornets or the Pistons or a team like that, just wallowing away. But I don't think Serge is going to end up there, especially if they get Harden. I don't think so. But I think
if they get Harden, I don't see any way.
I think Serge in LA with the Lakers looks like it could be a thing, but Serge will have many suitors, so I'm not sure. But this obviously makes them the favorite out of the East if it happens.
Just the East?
And I'm going to ask you, are they title favorites? Are your Brooklyn Nets the title favorites?
If they get James Harden, it's over. I'm never – look, everyone knows I try so hard not to be a fan on here, but as you know, James Harden is one of my favorite players. As Kevin Durant and Kyrie were also some of my favorite players. If
Yeah.
3 of my top 5 favorite players get on my team, it is
Yeah.
over. Like, it is over for everybody. I don't want y'all to talk about any other teams. I don't want to hear any LeBron. I don't want to hear any Lakers. I don't want to hear any Knicks. I don't want to hear anybody talk about anything other than the Brooklyn Nets winning multiple championships. And I'm going to say it right now. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. And we can keep going down the list because as long as these 3 guys play in Brooklyn, like Biggie said, man, you're going to sit back and be like, it was all just a dream.
You're ridiculous.
Oh, my
Listen,
God. Like, you don't understand. For people that don't know, being a Nets, Jets, Islanders, and Mets fan, I have never seen a professional championship. And when James Harden comes here, y'all are not going to stop hearing my mouth run about how the Brooklyn Nets were the greatest team in the history of basketball because of what happened there.
Here,
So that's my rant for y'all.
I agree with you that when you have put those 3 guys on a team, that is the best team in the NBA. On paper, that's the best team in the NBA, and they should be title favorites, even with LeBron and AD coming off a ring. But let me ask you this, just as to pose a question for Brooklyn Nets fans and just the NBA in general. But anything scare you about Harden when it comes playoff time? Well, if you got KD and Kyrie, does it scare you with Harden?
See, the reason I'm not scared with that is because I'm of the belief that I think we are way too hard on Harden in the playoffs. I don't see how people don't say he doesn't show up. He averages 30 in the playoffs. Just that he averages 36 in the regular season doesn't mean that's not showing up.
But we know his efficiency dips, though.
I mean, of course, yeah. I mean, that happens sometimes because when you're averaging about 25 shots a game through 82 games. When you get to the 100th game, your arm probably gets a little tired after that. I mean, like when you rely on him as much as you do in that offense.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Especially
it's a situation like that because he was a big playoff performer in OKC, except the year they were going to the championship, and that's when the narrative started right before he went over to Houston. That is that the issue? Is James Harden not? Is he really not that? Does he belong on the bench? And that was obviously years ago, but. I mean, I'm not worried with that, especially because if James isn't hitting, KD sure is going to be hitting because he said himself, you know who I am. And Kyrie's going to come up and say, hey, I still have that Mamba blood in me, man. Like, R.I.P. Kobe, but I'm like that still.
I wouldn't be worried either because they're 3 of the most talented guys in the NBA. But let me ask you one more question about the Brooklyn Nets team. Do you think Kyrie, right, if Harden has the ball and KD has the ball and Kyrie's not getting his shots, not running the offense the way he likes it, right? Because I think there would be an adjustment when you have Harden and Kyrie, 2 guys who are ball dominant. KD can fit in anywhere, right? We throw him to Golden State, he fits in. OKC, obviously he's the man, right? He can fit in any system because he's just one of the greatest ever. But with Kyrie and Harden, I think there'd be a little bit of a struggle at first of like, all right, now it's my time, not my time to score now, my time to score, my time to pass. Do you think that would be a problem with that team?
I think if you think of it that way, it could be. But I'm looking at it as we have a new coach in Steve Nash, and I think him being a ball-dominant guard, he's going to understand when we're going in the flow of things. I think they've already said we don't really have a head coach more than we have a friend, someone there personally to lift us up and get us through things. So I think Steve Nash is going to probably implement a lot of dribble handoff things. Our assistant coaches are Jacques Vaughn, who's probably going to handle our defense. Because when we do this, our defense is going to be poor. Do not get it messed up. We are going to have to fight for this because Garrett Temple's probably closing out. Joe Harris is not getting re-signed. DeAndre Jordan's probably going to be our only center. Jared Allen's gone. You might make a run at Serge if he takes the league minimum or something like that. But defensively, we might be a liability, and I could see that being our issue. But then you have Mike D'Antoni and Ime Udoka being assistant coaches on that staff. And one is from the Spurs lineage, and obviously D'Antoni is run and gun. And that is my only issue with this. It is going to hurt me to see Mike D'Antoni get a championship with the Brooklyn Nets. I was very adamant about him. Whoa, hold up. We have news. not to interrupt, but we have news. The Wizards and the Rockets have discussed a deal that would send Russell Westbrook to DC and John Wall to Houston. First thought.
Okay, let's react to that real quick because that's big.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to the Nets talk. I can do that all day. I don't care about that. Y'all know where I stand.
John Wall to Houston and Russ to Washington?
Yes. So Russ and Bradley Beal and John Wall,
So
I guess, wasting away in Houston.
right, is this a last stab at James Harden? Or is this what's the point of trading for John Wall if there's no James Harden?
How long is his contract?
John Wall's got 4 years, over $100 million left on that deal. That's a horrible contract. That's why
He sat out too. Should it have? Is it? If it's
I don't know. I just don't. I did it was like Jesus.
He has 38.2 this year or last year, so that's a lot of money for 0 games played.
Yeah, his contract is insane. That's why if the Wizards have any chance of moving off it, that they would.
Fun fact: when was the last time John Wall? This is a trivia question for everyone out there. When was the last time John Wall played more than 50 games in an NBA season?
I'm gonna guess 2016.
Great guess. 2016. In 2017, he played 41. 2018, played 32. 2019, he played 0.
I'm a little for the Wizards. It makes sense. I think you get a shorter deal with Russ. Less. I mean, both contracts aren't good, but Wall's was like very bad, and everyone knew it.
He is going into. Give me 1 second. Sponsored by SpoTrack. No, I'm kidding. Not at all. He's going to get paid $41 million this year. He is going to get paid $44 next year, and then he has a player option to get paid $47.
No, he's going to opt in.
Yes, he's going to opt in. So he basically has 3 years left at the age of 30, coming off an Achilles and an ACL, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's looked good.
Listen, I'm not even trying to disrespect him. I love John Wall as a player, but just money-wise, it doesn't make sense for Houston.
The funny thing is, has he looked like I was kind of jumping the gun on that. Has he looked good? Like, because I've looked at his training videos, and he kind of looks like he lost some burst.
Listen, he probably did. He's older and coming off an Achilles.
And he was out of shape the last time we saw him.
It's not a good deal for Houston at all, so I'm very, very confused about that one.
What has to be tagged to that? Because I'm assuming it's not going to just be John Wall for Russell Westbrook. It says Houston wants more assets, but I'm under the assumption that they'll probably give up Rui, Hachimura.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? The 10th pick?
I don't see it. I don't see it happening, but
if I'm bringing in Russell Westbrook, I have to be under the assumption that I'm keeping Thomas Bryant and Bradley Beal.
That's a playoff team in the East.
I don't know though. I don't know though, because if Chicago does the right thing with that pick, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
I don't know. And even if the Cavs do the right thing with their pick and decide to keep on to Kevin Love for one more year, they might have a chance. I mean, there's a chance. It depends how Kevin Porter Jr. is mentally, because I personally do want to say thoughts and prayers out to that man. He's obviously going through something serious right now. For y'all that don't know,
he's a talented young player too.
Very, very talented. My sleeper of last year's draft, I told people I didn't know how he fell to where he was, but he's been going through definitely mental health issues at the moment with thoughts of ending his life and stuff like that. And then he's gone into situations of being arrested and stuff like that. So thoughts and prayers out to him, and hope he gets well soon and gets the treatment he needs and treated properly so he can perform for us all. What'd you say?
That he should talk to Kevin Love. That's his teammate.
He should. Yeah, no, definitely. Kevin Love is a big advocate for that.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for him.
I don't think that trade makes much sense for Houston, but we'll have to see more details. Obviously, if we get like 2 picks or something, then maybe, yeah, but I doubt that.
I'd have to get this year's pick, next year's pick. I have to get your whole draft this year.
Yeah.
I have to get next year's first and maybe the year after that. I mean, we'll talk about the Bucks moves, but we just saw Drew Holiday go for three 3 firsts and 2 swaps. So that's kind of us going for.
I mean, hell, let's just get right into that trade. That's Drew Holiday to Milwaukee, and they're getting back
Eric Bledsoe.
But the main thing is 3 first-round picks.
George Hill, too, right?
When we were texting, right, and I'm like, oh, Drew Holiday's a Buck. That's cool. Never did I think that the Bucks would get maybe 1 first. Because, like, we're trying to win. What's 1 first? 3 firsts?
Mm-hmm. I think they're under the assumption that this is a move that's going to make Giannis stay. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't think it makes them championship contenders. I think they're reluctant to give up Chris Middleton, which I don't know why. I don't know why everyone's like, oh, they kept Chris Middleton through all this. It's amazing. I would have shipped Chris Middleton out the day they lost that playoff game. I don't care. Like, people can talk about that 30-point game all they want. Let's talk about the other games where he is averaging under 20 points per game on less than 45 from the field. And let's talk about his inability to be the scoring option we need. And then everyone's just shrugging and going, he's more of a third option guy. It's Eric Bledsoe's fault. No, because Eric Bledsoe's not the other all-star on the team. And we know Giannis' shortcomings. So he has to get better. And, I mean, it's a tough situation. I mean, I get what you're saying with the 3 picks. I would have gave up 2. I think George Hill. And I think the extra picks to get Eric Bledsoe off your books because you gave him a ridiculous extension.
Listen, I think Holiday's an upgrade from Eric Bledsoe. Drew Holiday is seriously underrated every year. Two-way player. He's a very good point guard. But are we going to act like I don't think it's a major difference between Eric Bledsoe and Drew Holiday. I'm not like, they're title contenders now. I still don't think they're title contenders. I think, they'll make the Eastern Conference semis or finals, and they're going to lose to a team like Brooklyn. But I don't think
I think that's the issue. I feel like they're title contenders if Brooklyn's not in the way. I don't see them beating Brooklyn.
And we know teams like the Raptors or a smart team like Boston will probably beat Milwaukee.
See, the only thing I disagree with is I do feel Drew Holiday is a major upgrade from Eric Bledsoe. I think Eric Bledsoe looked very reluctant to be in a lot of the positions he was in. And Drew Holiday is such an elite defender.
Yeah, he is.
That it's gonna erase. I don't know why you give up George Hill in that, though. I know he's on a shitty contract, too. But
my thing is, go for it, right? They're like, this is the year, man. We got to go for it. Give up a pick, right? You have a 50-50 chance on a pick that player turns out.
Mm-hmm.
Give up a pick if you have a chance for a championship. But upgrading, even if it's I don't think it's a major upgrade. I think it's a good upgrade. But again, it's not making you title favorites. And now you're basically saying, forget the future. We're trying to win right now. But you're still not at title contention. But you're giving up your future.
Mm-hmm.
I could see this going very bad for Milwaukee. Like, hey, we're losing the semifinals to the Boston Celtics, and now we don't have picks for the next 3 years. Giannis is leaving. We're about to become the Cleveland Cavaliers for the next 5 years.
And I feel that way too. But I think they see the Bogdanovich move as a big move, and I don't know why they see that because he's definitely an upgrade from DiVincenzo. So the trade, you have the trade. You can go through it.
You go through it. I don't have
we have Bogdanovich getting his rights. It's a sign and trade. He hasn't signed the contract yet, so we don't know what this contract's going to be. He is going to Milwaukee for Dante DiVincenzo, Ersan Ilyasova, and DJ Wilson. And I believe I don't know if there's a pick involved. There might not be a pick involved. I'm not sure about that, but those 3 players are going the other way. And for me, I think people are overblowing the starting lineup because the starting lineup is going to be Drew Holiday, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez. And I saw some people say, people are sleeping. This is the best starting 5 in the league. And I'm like, yeah, for now.
And it's not the best starting 5 in the league.
I mean, it depends who you upgrade. Well, let's go through it. Lakers.
Lakers are a better team. That starting five is better.
But who's their starting five going to be?
The Lakers?
Yeah, are we going to start Dennis Schroeder, or is he coming off the bench?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their team looks like when the year starts, but
Yeah, I think that's the only reason I'm saying for right now, because I feel like a lot of teams are going to make it. Like, if the Nets get James Harden, it's definitely not like it might not even be with the Nets
but here's
right
the thing. I don't
now.
know if you put that team that's on paper that everyone's saying, "Oh, that's the best start." I'm not convinced they're beating Boston in a 7-game series.
I think it's a series. I don't think it might.
You know,
I could see them getting it. I could
that's
see
the
them getting it.
you get into the finals to play somebody from the West. I'm not convinced that's the best 5 in the NBA.
See, my thing is, I just don't think they're better than. I don't know if this has them beating Miami now. I don't know if you made enough of a difference to
Yeah,
do that. I don't know if you're going to beat Brooklyn. I have
Boston.
confidence against the rest of the East. Maybe not Toronto. I think you can. I think you can beat Boston, but it would be a series. I could see why one would think that. And the West wise, you're not beating the Lakers.
No.
I don't think
The Clippers have room to make. I don't think you're beating the Clippers.
I think the Clippers is a tough one too. I don't know. I feel like that's a wash with them. They could lose to the Clippers.
You're not beating the Nuggets.
Nah, you could beat the Nuggets.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you could be. You're gonna put Giannis on Jokic.
That's fine.
You're gonna put Drew on Jamal. It's a matchup issue. You're gonna ask Jeremy Grant might leave. Paul Millsap might leave. So
the Nuggets.
You're gonna ask PJ Dozier to do a lot against Bogdanovic.
I'm not high on that 5 or Milwaukee in general.
So what do you have? Do you still think they're a top 3 seed?
I think they're a top 3 seed because the East still isn't that good. Mm-hmm. With Brooklyn becoming good, it becomes all top heavy. You have Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Boston, and Toronto. Then the rest of the East is like, eh.
Mm-hmm.
And Miami, sorry. The freaking finals team. But
we forget the team that went to the finals. That's crazy.
They're that kind of team, though, right? Like
they are.
You would forget about them. So I think it's still not a great East, and they're not going to beat Brooklyn. Even if they don't get James Harden, they're not beating Brooklyn. KD is still a better player than Giannis, even though people want to say Giannis is the king and everything. He's not. We know that.
I think that brings us to an interesting conversation now that you said that. It's a tough question because I don't even know how I feel about it. With AD getting a championship, can we solidify that Giannis is a top 5 player, or is he behind AD now? And who does that knock out? Because I feel like we'll all have
behind Anthony Davis in my book.
So you have him behind AD?
Yeah, he's probably, again, just off the top of my head, you got LeBron, Kawhi, you got KD, Anthony Davis,
and then James or Giannis, right? I feel like that's the thing.
56.
Mm-hmm. I could agree with that. I don't know if he's better than James, but that is 2 MVPs to 1, and they both have no championships. They both haven't had the playoff success.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, James has been to the finals technically.
Is he better than Luka Doncic?
Giannis?
Yeah,
definitely better than Luka. He's definitely better than Luka right now. Let's not get crazy with this. I'm cool with dropping him behind AD and James because AD did work to get that championship and was a big part of that.
The squad. You asked me who I'm picking. I'm taking Luka over Giannis.
Are you taking Luka over James Harden?
Yeah, I am.
Wow.
Yeah, I am. I'm taking Luka.
Wow, that's crazy.
I am. You don't agree?
No, I don't.
Give me
I still put. If we had to talk about it just off the top of my head,
yeah.
And you know what? ESPN's probably going to drop the top 100 soon, and you know what? Yeah. Comment if you want us to do a top. What do you think? Top 35?
Yeah, that's fine.
We can do a top 35 list for the NBA, either before ESPN's 100 or stuff like that.
Because we know that list will be shitty.
Yeah, we know that's going to be bad. What was the year they had Kobe at like 80 or Melo off the list, and Andrew Wiggins was 40 one year? Like that was the year I told you Tobias Harris was better than Andrew Wiggins, and people didn't want to believe me.
You're right. You're right.
Thank you. Like I'm gonna get the crown. I'm gonna edit the crown for today for that one, just to bring that up. But Comment if you want that in there. We'll consider doing that. But
Yeah.
off the top of my head, I'd probably say Bron and KD are 1A and 1B.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can go wrong there. I think Kawhi's probably 3, even though his collapse
Still 3.
is still 3. My issue is James and AD because I
80.
feel like I'd want to put James because of what he can do, and I know his talent. But
Think about
AD did just get a championship, even though it was with Bron. So I'll leave that as an argument, and then I'd probably put Giannis 6. And then I'd probably go Steph, Dame, Luka.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Luka could leapfrog Dame, though. I feel like we just saw a lot from Dame recently where like you can probably convince me to put Luka over Dame.
Luka made that Clippers Mavs a series.
He did, and Dame willed Portland to the playoffs.
He did, 100%.
So I feel like that's another cat. You see where my categories are. It's like Bron and KD, you can't really go wrong. AD and James, you can't really go wrong. And then Dame and Luka and Jokic and all them.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I really like Luka a lot.
Oh, I can tell.
I do. He's just so good, man, and his game isn't based off of athleticism, and that's what I think is going to make him so good for the next decade. Is he's not worrying about me jumping and dunking, right? He's worried about I'm just going to step back here and I'm 6'8" and I'm going to shoot over you.
Neither is James Harden's though. James Harden's not really.
No, but I think he's more relying on athleticism, but it's the same kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I can respect that.
Yeah. All right. What else? We got
another big trade. We got to talk about your Thunder. Your Thunder shipping people all over the globe. Dennis Schroeder for the 28th pick and Danny Green, as well as Chris Paul of the Phoenix Suns for Kelly Oubre, Jalen LeCue, Ricky Rubio, Ty Jerome, and a few more picks. And for the OKC, that makes 17 first-round picks from now until 2027. So as a Thunder fan, we already heard me be a Brooklyn fan.
Yeah.
Take it away. Have your rant.
Over here. I'll start with the first one with Schroeder. I mean, it's obvious that Schroeder and CP3, you guys are going to leave. We know that. We knew before the season, right? I mean, Schroeder really liked it in OKC. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I'm not just going to leave this time with anybody, but we wound up trading him, but it's fine. It made sense. We're sending him to the Lakers. Great pickup for the Lakers. Even if he's a six-man or starter or whatever. Great pickup for them. And for us, I mean, what else are we going to get? You think you're going to get more than a first for Schroeder? I don't think so. So you get a late first-round pick, which now we, have so many first-round picks. It's ridiculous. I don't think a team has ever had this many first-round picks before.
No way. For the next 6 years, you have 17.
Yeah. Sam Presti loaded me up, and I think somewhere in his mind and in our new head coach's mind, who we just promoted, he was our assistant. I don't even know much about him.
What's his name?
I forget. Some Italian, Spanish type name.
Give me a second. Continue.
I don't know much about him, but I'm with it. I like from promoting within. It probably means the guys like him, respect him, So we'll see how it goes with him. But
Mark Deneau, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's like he's 35-year-old former G League coach.
Yeah. So, again, obviously we don't know much about him, but we'll see what he got. So I'm worth giving the guy a shot. I'm not going to hate on him before anything.
The pictures that show are Billy Donovan, so I don't even know what he looks like.
Exactly. Nobody knows who he is. But what I'm saying is they have to, somewhere in Sam Presti's mind and his mind and the owner's mind is, what are we doing with all these picks, right? We're not just going to – there's no way we're just waiting every year and picking a bunch of – right? We're packaging 4 picks to get a superstar because we know OKC's not getting a free agent. No star free agent is going to go to Oklahoma City. That's the small market life. That's fine. So they're going to build through the draft like they've done. KD, Russ, Harden, they know how to draft. But can they make a trade, right? I think it's not going to happen anymore. But midway through the season, it was like, hey, if they could package these picks for D-Book, that would be a hell of a deal. Not going to happen anymore after their bubble performance, and obviously they have CP3. But, a player like that, a young guy who's on the rise, who will stay in OKC
Mhm.
for 5 years, get a max deal, and they can build around that guy. They're not just going to be picking first-rounders for the next 7 years. They're going to trade for somebody, and every year we see a superstar become available that we don't think is available.
Right.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of many. I don't know, maybe
James Harden. We never
right.
thought James Harden was going to be available.
Something like that would happen, but I hope that happens. I'm cool with the picks. I'm cool with Schroeder being a Laker. Now we get the CP3, who we loved last year in OKC, right? He did so much for our team, led our team, showed the guys how to win. He goes now to Phoenix, which I don't love the move for Phoenix as much as other people do. I think they gave up a little too much to us. I think you have to give up Rubio, which is fine. I don't like Ricky Rubio.
You don't like Ricky? I like Ricky still. I think he's a starting point guard. He might be better than Eric Bledsoe. He might be. I'd have to watch the tape, but that's a conversation.
I'm not a big Rubio fan. I think we've seen there's a reason he bounces around, right? People are like, you are a starter, but you're just not good enough where it's like, okay, we can keep him at point. Like, we need to upgrade. Everywhere he goes, we see that.
I don't want to say that because the Jazz got Mike Conley and got a little worse.
Well, we saw Mike Conley just not be able to play as well as we thought.
But I think that was also telling of like Mike Conley was a Grizzly, and he's not gonna be he had a special thing with Memphis where changing sceneries does affect some guys sometimes, and Ricky's one of those talents where no matter where he plays, he doesn't really care. He's just gonna dime, and we know he can't score, and he's not a great defender. So
he will play hard. He's a good teammate. He might rock. I don't know what his contract is. We might rock out.
Too much. No, it's too much. It's a bad contract.
He might rock out his contract in OKC because listen, we're probably if we don't package the picks, we're not going to be a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
He might finish his contract with OKC and head out, but I don't think that's OKC really cares for that. We got Ricky Rubio. Now Kelly Oubre is a very nice player that I was very happy and surprised that the Suns were like, yeah, we'll give you Kelly. I know they want Chris Paul and they're trying to make the playoffs, but if somehow you can keep Oubre and you got Paul, Booker, Oubre, I don't know who their four is. It's Saric still, and Ayton.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good starting five. Now you kind of have a hole at the three. I don't know who their backup is or who they might be targeting.
Mikal Bridges. I think that'll be fine. He's a 3-and-D guy. He'll fit well. And Kelly Oubre was out for the bubble.
And
I think that's what made him.
Oubre had his best season this year.
True, but I feel that I think that's what made him expendable because he didn't play in the bubble, and they went 8-0, and Mikal Bridges did his job. They have Cam Johnson. They can put him at the 4 if they want. Your UNC boy. He's a shooter. He's nice. I like him. They can bring Saric back. I think he's an RFA. They have a team option on Frank Kaminsky to be on their bench. I don't think that'd be awful to do.
I'm still just a little shocked about how much we got because even with the Chris Paul trade, are they a playoff team?
You think the Thunder?
No, the Suns.
Oh, the Suns. The Suns is a question because
it's not
the West.
Exactly. It's your. No one has you at 6 or better. You're at 7 or 8.
I don't think they can be 6.
I mean,
I think we might be. Now, this is just people said last year that we should talk about Utah being a contender, and I said they're going to be the most disappointing team this year. And I don't think they were as disappointing as Philly and some other teams, but they were kind of up there. And I think we're ready for the collapse of Utah. I think that might be the next guy to go. It's going to be either Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert.
I don't think so. I'm going to play a little devil's advocate there because that team lost the Nuggets in 7 games. Nuggets made some Western Conference Finals.
3-1 lead.
Yeah, but that's how good they can play. I think if you have Donovan Mitchell, you're not going anywhere. He's such a special player that if you have just guys like Gobert around him, you're probably a playoff team.
See, my thing is with the Suns getting better, with the Mavs having another year of experience, I guess the Rockets are going to drop out. They're probably not going to be a playoff team, so maybe that's where Phoenix slides in too. and Utah can still be a contender. Portland's going to be in. I think Memphis is going to have another year like last year. I don't think that was a real anomaly. I think Ja Morant's going to still be up there. I think Jaren Jackson's going to still be
They're
up
not.
there.
Yeah.
You got to see what New Orleans is full season with Zion. You got to see what Sacramento can do. Maybe De'Aaron wants to move, or you'll see what happens there. But my thing with Utah is we already saw Mike Conley get benched and kind of be a decline. So if Mike's not doing his job, you're going to rely on who to be your starting point guard. I know Jordan Clarkson had a good year, and he's a very underrated player. But I do think he's best suited in the sixth man role.
He's not.
Bogdanovich is coming off a wrist injury on his shooting hand, I believe. That could be a problem. And then we already know Rudy Gobert is no offensive force whatsoever. So barring any big move, I don't really see them being anything other than Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, and Rudy Gobert. And to me, that's not really enough to the point you might drive one of them out of town.
I can see that. So let's just do this. Let's predict right now, just right now, are the Suns a playoffs? Are the Suns a playoff team? And if you think so, what seed? I'll answer it first. I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna give them the 7 seed just because I believe in Devin Booker and how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
And Houston drops out, they come in, and maybe an 8 seed is like a team that gets hurt or something. They drop to 8. I think I'll put the Suns at 7.
Okay. Off the top of my head, I'd probably say Lakers are 1 again. 1 again. I'd probably say the Clippers are 2 again, regardless of what they do.
Nuggets, we know in the regular season they win.
I think the Mavericks might be 3.
Mavericks.
I'll put Denver at 4, though. I think because Jamal Murray did hit something different.
Yeah.
Portland's going to be good. I like the trade for Robert Covington. That's just a little side note.
Yeah, and that's a nice little upgrade.
Yeah, a little upgrade with the
but it's a nice upgrade.
Yeah, Rodney Hood declined his option, so he's not coming back anyway. But I think Portland could be a top seed. And then, who else is in the West? I don't want to say 6 and then forget somebody because I don't think OKC is going to be out. I might say 6. I might say yes, and I might say 6 with Phoenix. I'm definitely going to say yes. They're going to be in the playoffs.
All right, so we both think they'll be in the playoffs, which is good. It'll be good to see the Suns back in the playoffs. But again, the deal. What's the deal for? You're losing a first round series. This is where I question sometimes GMs and stuff. They're just like, let's make this move now. Let's have a playoff team. But for what? We know CP3 is declining. He's not going to get better.
Denver-Phoenix is a good series. Maybe I put Denver at 3 just so I could watch that. Denver,
I still think Denver's a lot better than them.
I think they're better. I don't know, a lot better. Because like I said, Millsap's a free agent and Jeremy Grant's a free agent right now. This
is the only season, realistically, that you're going to be a playoff contender because CP's not going to get better as he turns 37, 38, however old he is.
Oh, no, not at all. This is kind of the last – this is one of the last hurrahs with CP.
Yeah, so it's a little – it's like I get it. You guys want to make playoffs, maybe make a little money. You're on the playoffs. You're in the playoffs. But it's not a long-term move, and I always question, unless you're in a championship mindset, like, why are you doing that?
But did you give up enough to handicap you? Because I think keeping the 10th pick, I think that's going to be crucial. And, it's not in the mock draft, but I think that's a place you might see a surprise pick at point guard, and maybe you see a Cole Anthony go there. Because if Cole Anthony's coming off your bench and behind, we know he had his issues at UNC. We know he's no longer projected to be a lottery pick. But if, say, the draft falls to the point where there's only bigs there, then you might go with them and put them behind CP and say, hey, we have CP for this year. We'll see what he is next year, and then the kid's got it.
I like that. Now, if they do something like that, it makes sense. And this is why you and I should be GMs of an NBA team. But
call us. Just call us.
Just like on the comment, just be like, "Hey guys, we need your help consulting." Boom.
Yeah, we'll do consulting. I don't care who you are, as long as you're
We
not
we will not make it
Boston. I can't do Boston.
Cavaliers. Like we won't do that. We're either going to be so bad that we become good, or we're going to be already that good. We're not going to hang out in the middle. That's not what we're going to do.
I feel that. I like that.
Anyway,
But yeah,
what else?
so yeah. So I mean, the only other thing I'd say before we get into this mock draft is two things. One trade related. I feel like we already talked about it a little bit before the show. Bulls are trying to get Kemba. Is this something we're taking seriously? Do we get it for Chicago? Does Boston even do it?
Yeah,
Thoughts?
not taking it seriously. Chicago doesn't need Kemba Walker. This is exactly what I'm saying. Teams that aren't in championship contention saying, "Oh, we need a playoff team right now." Kemba, Zach LaVine, and the rest of your squad, Wendell Carter, Markin, are not winning anything. You'll make the playoffs. You're probably losing the first round. Maybe you win a first-round series, lose in the second round. You're not doing much. But Boston's not going to make the deal anyway. And if you have a guy like Kobe White, UNC product, who had a nice rookie year and ended the year on fire, was playing great basketball to end the year. Why not just give him the reins of the offense and see what you have in Kobe White? And now we always hear Zach LaVine trade rumors. We hear them every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what I guess that's their guy, but who knows? Markkanen's been disappointing the last couple seasons. Wendell Carter's a good piece. He's a good center, but how good? I don't think it makes sense for the Bulls.
I agree. I'm not taking it seriously because I don't think Boston would trade Kemba this early. Like one bad playoff series. We knew Kemba didn't go to the playoffs much. This is only second time in the playoffs. So he needs to adjust. It's not like he's not showing up and playing really bad. He's just not living up to his contract, which as I see as the business of basketball, I understand why that's an issue. But doing it for like Kobe White, I feel like that kind of sets Boston back, if anything.
Yeah,
and
100%. Doesn't make sense for Boston.
Right, and even if Chicago got him, like you said, I could see them making a run. But if that happened, it would be under the assumption that Markkanen blew up, Wendell Carter started playing like an Al Horford role.
Mm-hmm.
Zach LaVine is already that dude, in my opinion. I don't know why they ever think about
player.
It. He averages about 25 a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a bad 25.
Yeah.
And then would you be under the assumption Kemba had to have a good playoffs all of a sudden? And I don't know where, like, what would you have traded? You can't just do Kobe White straight up. You're going to have to keep the Otto Porter contract. It's just too much to figure out, so I'm not taking it seriously. Yeah. And the last thing, before we get into this mock draft for everybody, Anthony Davis declined his player option, something or nothing.
Obviously nothing. LA and LeBron, that's his – LeBron's telling him, this is your team. This is your town. I'm going to be gone soon. This will be your franchise. He's sticking around with his boy. I love to see it, and they're going to repeat again next year. So, just it's fine.
Sign and trade to Chicago for LaVine and Markkanen.
No thanks.
They get Kemba anyway. Boston just gives it to him off the strength.
No.
Yeah, no, it's nothing. He's going to re-sign. There's not much to say about that. Free agency this year. I'm actually surprised the amount of people that decline their options, considering COVID and stuff like that. I would have thought a lot of people would have took their money.
Guys are always trying to bet on themselves, which is a good thing, but doesn't always work,
But Robin Lopez thinks he's going to get more than $5 million.
That's what I mean.
I mean, I get Wesley Matthews. He's trying to get – he had like 2.5.
Again, Otto Porter, right?
He has to take that. Him, DeMar DeRozan – yeah. Andre Drummond. Oh, my God. Nicholas Batum. Nicholas Batum picked up his $28 million up.
That guy even play anymore? Like
he comes off the bench, I think.
Like that's just such a bad it's been a bad contract. Teams are just trading him trying to get off of it.
That's that's actually the last NBA game. I don't know if it was the last NBA game I saw live, but the last time I remember being at Barclays Center was Hornets, Nets. Brooke Lopez was still on the Nets. Kemba was on Charlotte. Nick Batum and Brooke Lopez each had 30 apiece. And both of those teams were so bad. It was probably like I don't remember any particular plays other than Brooke and Batum going off.
That's a shitty game.
It really was. But now let's get into this. All right. NBA mock draft for y'all. Day before the draft. So We're only going to mock the first 10 because we realized while we were doing this, picks 11 through 15, 4 of those teams are expected to either trade up or trade down.
Mm-hmm.
So why the hell are we even going to talk about these 4 teams?
We can predict the future, but only to a certain point.
Yeah, so we cut them out completely. We're doing the top 10, and we're naming a few sleepers. So I have 5. Doesn't really matter where they go, but guys to watch.
All right.
Let's go into it. Tom, I'm going to have you lead off with the first pick in the 2020 NBA Draft. The Minnesota Timberwolves select
Anthony Edwards. I know, not LaMelo Ball. Our guy LaMelo. Me and you love LaMelo, but I think it's just a bunch of smoke when it comes to LaMelo for the Timberwolves. With D'Angelo Russell there, it's like these guys kind of are similar. They don't complement each other as well as a true shooting guard in Anthony Edwards, who, by all means, has the right to be number 1 pick. One of the best guards in the country, is built already, has an NBA body, looks like he's explosive. He's got a decent jumper. Looks like he's built for the NBA, and a good compliment when you have Russell and Towns.
I agree, because for me, Anthony Edwards also went number 1. I made a little big board. He is number 1 on my big board.
I knew you were going. I really thought you were going LaMelo.
No, I did. I thought about it because I think we can agree it is between those 2.
Did you think I was going to pick LaMelo?
I did. I really did think you were going to take LaMelo. I was like, oh, he's going to take LaMelo. It's not even going to matter. I already know what's going to happen. Yeah. But I said, Anthony Edwards is, in my opinion, the most NBA-ready player in the draft. Yes. I think his floor is too high. Mm-hmm. He reminds me a lot of Victor Oladipo, except kind of a next level type of that. Like, I feel like he's already in that Victor Oladipo role where if he grows past that, it's going to be something.
Got a little D-Wade in him, I feel like.
Yeah, I think he has a little. I don't know about D-Wade, but I'd say a little James Harden actually. He goes to a step back a lot, but he's more athletic. So I'd say a mix of Oladipo, Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden. I think he's a mix of those guys. Very modern guard.
Here, let's also say, if we like this, do you like Anthony Edwards to be a good player?
What do you mean?
Like
just a good player in the NBA?
Yeah, do we think like this pick is going to be worth the number 1 pick?
I say yes. I say yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think these top 3 guys you can't really go wrong with.
Okay.
I don't think there's really a floor on them. And I also had a trade proposal. Washington said no. We called, but this was a trade I was waiting for. It was going to shock the world, but unfortunately, they disagreed with me. Minnesota was looking to acquire Bradley Beal for the first overall pick, Jared Culver, James Johnson, Jacob Evans, and a 2021 unprotected first-round pick. So we would have had D'Lo, Bradley Beal, Josh Okogie, whoever we signed at the 4, and Cat.
I like that deal for both teams, honestly.
I thought it was a very fair deal, but
that's a great deal for both teams. Not going to happen, but I like it. I like what you're thinking.
Right. I was told Bradley is not available no matter what. So
okay.
But other options, like you said, LaMelo Ball, and the other option I thought of was maybe a 3-team for Buddy Hield, but obviously that's kind of a long shot.
Yeah.
So I think we should go into the second overall pick.
Yeah. Please give me an intro.
With the second overall pick, Golden State Warriors select
James Wiseman. Boo. Listen, I don't think the Warriors are going to be picking here. I think they're going to trade. I don't think it makes much sense for them to pick a player here that needs to develop when they're a championship team. Don't get it twisted. They got hurt last year. They still got Curry, Durant. What did I – Durant, Curry,
Thompson.
Durant. Wiggins seems, they don't want Wiggins, but they might have to keep him. But I think with this deal moving back, I think they are going to try to package Wiggins with it. Say, hey, if you want our pick, you got to take Wiggins, and we'll give me your pick, which will be whatever team, say 9th pick, whatever. I'm not going to say what team would switch because I have no idea. But I do think they're going to trade. But for mock draft purposes, we don't do trades. If they stay there, which I don't think they will, I'm picking James Wiseman because that's the only pick that makes sense.
All right. So.
You want an intro for this one? Because I feel like you're going to go somewhere different.
No. Because I also picked James Wiseman. But I tried to do this a little different. James Wiseman is the number 3 player on my board. I have him behind LaMelo and Anthony Edwards. I think the other options, like you said, trading back, but I don't think they're going to do it, and here's why. Everything that I thought about, I was on the ESPN trade machine. I looked at the Knicks. I looked at Atlanta. I looked at anyone that could want to get LaMelo Ball. I looked at the Hornets coming up to get James Wiseman, say we don't want him. And every time I looked at it, nothing was enough.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't add up to enough to pass on James Wiseman for me. So I think they're going to take the pick. And anything that did add up, like, it would require moving a piece that was kind of immovable, in my opinion. Like, either the Knicks could trade up, but it'd be a 3-team and Atlanta needs Draymond to make the money work. Or we could switch with San Antonio and get Aldridge and they get Wiggins. But do we want to drop back to 11? Is that enough? It was one of those situations where you didn't really know what you were getting. So I went Wiseman. I think he's a good fit. And I think they're just going to go the route of signing their bench in free agency.
Okay. I think they move. You think they stay. So it should be interesting to see tomorrow.
Gotcha. So with the 3rd pick.
I think we know where this is going.
The Charlotte Hornets select
LaMelo Ball. And I don't want him to go here because I want LaMelo on a big market team. I don't want him going to Charlotte. And I think with Michael Jordan coming out and saying, hey, I really want Russell Westbrook in a Hornet uniform, if there's real smoke with that, I don't know if I'll go. Maybe they pick Denji or Obi Toppin, but I think you can't pass on LaMelo here. These Hornets don't really have a direction. You have P.J. Washington, who seems to be a good big.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Rozier, and you have Devontae Graham, but, how good are they really? LaMelo could be that star that you need. Not yet. I think he'll need time. He still has a young body. He's not, he's got some things to work on, but I think getting LaMelo at 3 is a big deal because I think he could be the number 1 pick.
We are 3 for 3.
3 for 3. That's the way we do it.
I went LaMelo, and like you said, there's only 2 options for me. The funny thing is the only way I don't see LaMelo going here is for the center from USC, Onyeka Ongaku. I think they really like him. I think he's a good fit. But assuming he goes at 3, if that happened, I had a trade for Russell Westbrook, which would have been Russell Westbrook goes to the Hornets for P.J. Washington, Malik Monk, Nick Batum, their 2 second-round picks this year and their 1st pick next year.
Interesting trade.
So that's one I would have went. I would have been reluctant to give up the 3rd pick for that.
Hey, listen, Michael Jordan might be the GOAT in your eyes, but how bad of an owner is that guy?
I think he does have too much of a hands-on role. I think you do have to understand it is Charlotte though. You're never gonna get a free agent there.
They haven't drafted well though.
Yeah, but they were never good before he was the owner either.
Yeah, well, can we get somebody in there that's competent?
I mean, he has a reluctancy to spend money. I do agree with that. He didn't want to pay Kemba, and he didn't want to pay some other guys. But do I really blame him for not wanting to pay Kemba?
No, but Terry Rozier, he'll pay.
He's bad at drafting. I'll tell you that. He's very bad at drafting.
Michael, you're one of the best basketball players of all time. If you need help, just let me know.
Just call.
Like I know on the court you're good, but let me help you off the court, Mike. Let me just help you. But
what do you do when Michael Jordan tells you to fuck off when you're trying to pick somebody? Nah,
But
fuck off. I'm taking Kwame. Kwame Brown is nice. Like, I don't care what you say.
10 years, so
You're
that's
going to
fine.
argue with Michael Jordan, bro?
I will when it comes to the Charlotte Hornets.
That's fair. But like I said, LaMelo at this pick makes sense. Just put Devontae Graham at the 2. He's a shooter anyway. Terry's better off the bench.
And when
And
you get a guy free that might have the most talent in the whole draft, I think you have to take it.
I think, you know what? I think they should make a run at Montrezl. I think Montrezl would be a good fit in Charlotte. I think that would make a lot of sense.
Why not?
So, with the 4th overall pick, I finally think we're going to disagree on something. With the 4th overall pick, the Chicago Bulls select
Denji, blah, 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 blah.
Deni Avdija.
Yeah. They're picking the boy from Israel, right?
Yes.
Listen, I'm not sold on this guy as other people are. I've watched, I haven't watched him a lot, but I've watched some highlights. I've watched some tape on him. Looks to be, doesn't look like he's going to be a total bust like we've seen some Euro players, but don't compare him to Luka.
No.
A guy like Luka only comes around, especially from Europe, every once in a while. Like that guy doesn't come out every year, so don't say every year and say, "Oh, this guy's like Luka coming from Europe." He's not Luka. I think he's not going to be the player I think that the Bulls need or want, but not the player that he's not going to be the player that he should be. Right? He's not going to reach his potential. I don't think he's going to be much of not a good player. I think they consider Obi, but because they're not sold on marketing now. But I think they go Denji just because he's got some hype around him and he fits at that position more than other guys.
Mm-hmm. We're 4 for 4. I also picked Deni Avdija, but we are very different here.
Okay.
I have a great pro comparison. I feel every time I watch Deni Avdija, I see Mr. AK-47 himself, Andrei Karolinko. I think that is his role in the NBA. He will be a big scoring forward. I say AK-47 because he also reminds me of Gallinari, but he's way more athletic than Gallo.
Yeah.
And maybe a little Hito Turkoglu. I've heard some Hito Turkoglu comparisons, and that's not bad for the 4th pick. If he's Hito at the 4th pick, I think that might be an issue. But I think AK-47, I think that'd be a great fit. I like him a lot. I like him more than Toppin, actually. I have him at 4 on my board. I do have him a lot ahead of a bunch of other guys. And I actually think he could be successful in Chicago. But I do agree on the reason I'm taking him is because of Lauri Markkanen. If Lauri doesn't work out, I have no problem moving Deni to the 4 and then bringing in a better defending wing.
Yeah, I was going to say you better. Yeah.
Yeah, there is no defense on this team right now. I'm assuming your starting lineup would be Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Deni Avdija, Lauri Markkanen, and Wendell Carter. And other than Wendell Carter, your best defender is probably going to be Deni.
That's horrible.
And Denny's not a bad defender. It's just he's going to be a rookie, and I'm not relying on a rookie to be one of my top defenders.
Nope.
All right.
Disagree with me, you mother?
Yo, I feel like we're not going to disagree again. I feel like our top 5 is going to be the same now.
I think top 5 is going to be the same, and then I think the next couple will be different. But all right.
With the 5th pick in the 2020 NBA Brofluent Mock Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select
Obi Toppin, the National Player of the Year. Makes sense. I think a guy like Obi's super athletic. Cleveland, they have young guards. They have older bigs. Let's try to match up the age with the guards and the bigs, build a little bit of something to the future. Second, Darius Garland, Obi now complements them pretty well, I think. Don't stack the backcourt. Obi Toppin makes sense. I think they could go Onyeka Ngagwe, but they have Drummond. We don't know if Drummond's the future there, though, so Ngagwe could be the future, but I think they go Obi.
All right. We agree. Yet again, I took Obi Toppin with Cleveland, but I don't like it. I really don't like it. I don't know who I'd want here. If I'm Cleveland, I kind of want to trade out of it, but I don't know where to go. And I can see if they take Okongwu, like you said, I think it would make sense because Tristan Thompson's probably leaving. But if you do that, I feel like you're admitting defeat on the Drummond trade, that you're just assuming he was a 2-year rental and he's going to walk, and then that's
Yeah.
going to be your future. But I feel if you take Toppin, you could move K-Love for something and then make Toppin your 4 and have Larry Nance be your backup 5 and try to go really small ball but really spaced out. So that's what I was thinking when I went Toppin. I think Toppin's I think he's very Aaron Gordon-esque, but people are forgetting, and like we've talked about before, he wasn't just a sophomore, he was a 22-year-old sophomore, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it does make him one of the oldest players at the top of this draft. That does kind of lower his ceiling a little bit because you're only going to be at a certain point. He's crazy athletic.
He got 19 and he's already 22.
Right. And he needs to
real quick. Atlanta didn't play for the Celtics. Gordon Hayward in a sign-in trade.
I just got that too.
Atlanta, you don't need Gordon Hayward.
When they say a sign-in trade, I'm assuming that means he wouldn't take his option.
I don't know exactly what that means, but you'd have DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish. Let those guys grow. Don't put Gordon Hayward there.
Yeah, I don't like it because of DeAndre. I mean, can you play Gordon at the 2? Because I don't want to start Cam Reddish for Kevin Huerter. Every trade I had for Atlanta, I was giving up Kevin Huerter. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play with the 2, maybe, but I still just don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I get it's a win-now move, but don't give up the 6th pick for it.
Yeah, agreed.
And sign and trade, like I said, I'm also assuming that means he is not opting into his contract.
Yeah.
And then I do like it a little better. But if I'm Gordon Hayward, why am I leaving that money on the table to go to Atlanta?
That's why rumors are rumors.
Yeah, I don't believe that one. But
all right,
like we said, other than Obi Toppin getting a little stronger, we should move on with the 6th pick. The Atlanta Hawks that we just discussed are selecting
Onyeka Ugaku, however you say this guy's name. He, on some people's list, he's a top 2 pick, but I think he drops a little bit here to 6. I don't even love the fit, really, but I think he's the best available, and you have to go the best available if you're Atlanta because you have a lot of different guys in a lot of different places. You have an abundance of forwards now, and you have your guards that you said you wanted to build around with Huerter and Young, but we just said how we're not sure if Huerter's really that guy. I don't think any of us really thought he was either when he was drafted, but I'm going to go and go. He's going to play good defense for them. They have Clint Capella, so he's not going to start. But I'll just go him because I think he's the best player available.
Okay.
Don't you tell me.
I did not take Onyeka Ngakwu.
And we have
but he is the best player available on my board. I went through a lot of film with Atlanta. I watched a lot of Trae Young. I watched a lot of John Collins. I watched a lot of Clint Capella. And I think Atlanta is sold on Clint Capella for some weird reason. I don't agree with it.
100%.
But you have Clint Capella. You're playing for the next 4 years. You have Dwayne Dedmon for the next 2 on the $13 million a year. And you have Damian Jones, and there's another big that they have that's going to be a RFA that supposedly they're going to re-sign. So to me, that's telling me they're going to try to fix that hole at the 2-guard spot. And I'm going to go Isaac Okoro from Auburn. And the reason I'm going there is he is the next best player on my board.
He's a great defender.
He's a great defender, and I'm going to give you a pro comp that I know a lot of people might not like, but I'm a big fan of. He reminds me of Jimmy Butler. He reminds me a lot of Jimmy Butler. He doesn't really have a consistent jump shot.
That's a reach.
I don't know, man. I really like this kid, and his athleticism is more of a D Wade, but he's not that level of a player. He's more of a Jimmy Butler where he's got next level athleticism, but his game is offensive rebounds, gritty stuff, getting in the lane, taking smart shots, and then he has a little bag in him. He's got some step backs. He's got some stuff. So I think he'd be a great fit being a non-ball dominant guard with
Yep.
Trae Young, and giving him and DeAndre Hunter, letting them be the forceful defensive wings. Let Trae Young carry the offense, and then any offensive woes, give me Cam Reddish and Kevin Huerter off the bench.
I'm not mad at it. I think it's maybe a little bit of a reach, but that's what the draft's for. Teams reach, so it's bound to happen.
I feel you. All right. So with the 7th pick, the Detroit Pistons.
I think we're both going to say Tyrese Halliburton. I think it makes sense. They don't have, Derrick Rose was there last year. They don't really have any sense of direction with that franchise, right? Hey, Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Just call.
Yo, seriously.
Just call.
They might be the worst roster in the NBA.
We don't mind living in Detroit. We know it can be rough. Listen,
I'll commute.
We'll live.
I'll commute. It's fine.
We'll be all in. Just call us. I think Tyrese Halliburton actually is a good pick. I think he's a steady player. Shoots efficient from 3. Not a home run, I don't think, but I think he is as you said, for a high floor. Maybe not the most potential of any player, but you're going to get a good player, I think. Mm-hmm. And Detroit, you don't know where you're going. It seems like you're trying to get rid of Blake. You guys are old, but you're young. Just get a guard who's steady. I go with Halliburton.
I don't hate the pick.
Oh, you don't have Halliburton.
Keep in mind, our last pick went differently. And since I went Okoro, I agree Detroit should go best player available. And for me, that is Onyeka Okongwu.
That makes sense.
You just lost DeAndre Jordan. Yep. Not DeAndre Jordan. Andre Drummond. You just lost Andre Drummond. See, it's because of Blake. Blake can't be playing with so many Andres and DeAndres. Like, he's got to stop that. But anyway.
Out of there.
I agree they have a hole at the guard position, and that's why if Okongwu was not on the board, I would have taken Halliburton or Killian Hayes, who is still available. Yep. But I'm going Okongwu because I'm expecting to lose Christian Wood in free agency.
Yeah, definitely.
John Henson's a free agent, but I don't really care about that. And they have the worst roster in the league. The only player to build around for me is Sekou Doumbouya, who they drafted last year, who is supposedly supposed to be the next Pascal Siakam and shows flashes, but it's not – I don't know if he's a franchise player.
Yeah.
So if I go with Onyeka, I kind of get that, and for the next few years I have to build up the guard spot and really try to find a way to get into a better position there.
But hey, Detroit, just call.
Seriously, call.
Email.
Unlike him, I will commute. I'll go over Zoom.
I'll just live.
I'm not a Detroit guy.
I don't need to commute. I'll be there. I'll sleep there.
I'll sleep at Big Sean's house, T Grizzly's house, or Eminem's house. That's fine. Then I'll do that.
Jesus.
No disrespect to anyone from Detroit. But anyway.
No.
Now with the 8th pick, the New York Knicks
Your New York Knicks.
My Brooklyn Nets. The New York Knicks select.
Winning again, and as they do, they miss because they select, and I'm not hating on this kid. I think he's a fine player. Devin Vassell from, I believe, Florida State.
Wow.
Because as the New York Knicks do, they pick the wrong player, the wrong fit. Who they should take is boy Killian Hayes, because they need a point guard. But they won't because they're the New York Knicks, and I'm not predicting what I think. I'm predicting how it's going to go. Devin Vassell, even though Killian Hayes should be the pick.
Well, you see, I did what I would do.
Yeah.
So I took Killian Hayes.
Yeah.
But don't be shocked. I'm not saying Devin Vassell, but the other kid from Florida State, Patrick Williams.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of potential. What'd you say?
He's Florida State?
He's Florida State too.
Okay.
But I think there's a lot of potential for him to end up in New York.
I could see that one too.
But I'm gonna go Killian Hayes because it's the smart pick. He's the next highest player on my board, and he fits a position of need. If you're not getting LaMelo, you might as well team up Killian Hayes, who I pro comp to Lonzo Ball. He looks like a left-handed Lonzo Ball, a little hint of D'Lo in him. So while it's not over the top, Killian Hayes and RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson can be your future, and you can go from there.
Okay, but you know what you said, right? You said the Knicks smart. That does not go hand in hand. They are going to pick the wrong player.
They need to call me. They need to call us too.
Imagine changing your whole franchise all just with a phone call.
Phone call to Brofluent. That's it. We have an email. Email at Brofluent. We are taking official emails from y'all.
We need your help, and we're there. It's not a problem.
Exactly. We'll do a Zoom call, bro.
Zoom call. I don't care about COVID. I'll come out there. Come on.
I'll definitely be right in the city. There's no issue. That's not far.
All right, let's go to 9.
All right. So with the 9th pick, the Washington Wizards select
a guy who's already left off your board, Isaac Okoro.
Isaac Carl.
Okay. He just seemed like the best player available. I know they have Rui, who, like, not that they're the same player, but they're kind of like, I don't think Okoro shoots many threes, right?
No, he shoots a little. He has a weird job at Auburn.
Yeah.
He played a lot of the 4 and the 3, but in the NBA they're predicting him to be a 3 and a 2.
Yeah, so he's a little bit like Rui, kind of, where they play a couple different positions, but I think he's a great defender. Rui's a good defender. You got 2 young guys who will play hard at all times.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good pick for them at 9.
See, I went with the Florida State boy we just mentioned.
Okay.
Patrick Williams. This is a potential pick because talk about guys that do the same thing Rui does.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Williams is a big, long, lengthy defender. He's a big body guy, but he's a project. He reminds me a little of, when I watch him, I'm looking at things and I'm like, ooh, that's a hint of like Kawhi. But I don't see that. I see Jonathan Isaac. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think Jonathan Isaac would be a good fit there, especially if you keep John Wall and Bradley. So assuming you plug him in, and even if Rui doesn't work out, you just move him to the 4, and we see it gives you flexibility at the forward spot, in my opinion.
Hey, we know love just packing up guys who play 3 and a 4 right now.
Right. So that's what I do right there.
Yeah.
Just a valuable asset and see what you can get. Maybe he does turn into Kawhi. Who knows? But
yeah, you never know.
Exactly. So with our final pick before sleepers, the Phoenix Suns recently acquired Chris Paul. They do now select.
And I love this pick because I love what Phoenix is doing. Killian Hayes. I know they just got
okay.
CP3.
No, I like that.
Wow. Why would they need Killian Hayes? We know CP3 is not the long-term answer. Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, both guys who are going to be there long-term. Killian Hayes now adds to that. You have a point guard that gets a 1-year, maybe 2-year experience with CP3, learning from one of the GOATs of the position. When CP3 leaves, Killian Hayes, let's see what you got. I think Killian Hayes is going to be a good pro. Mm-hmm. Not sure if he's all-star level, but I think he could be. I think, as you said before, he has a little bit of D'Angelo Russell in him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think having him behind CP3 is a great start to his career. Phoenix now with James Jones as their GM. Who's their head coach?
He's been doing a great job.
Monty Williams is the head coach, right?
Yes.
Monty Williams is a great head coach.
He really is.
It seems like they're starting to put things together in Phoenix, even though I said the Chris Paul trade isn't awesome, but they're starting to put things together, unlike the last 5 years where we've just seen a team that is just garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Killian Hayes at 10, I think is an awesome pick for them.
See, for me, we both had a guard that was falling.
Yeah.
For me, the rich get richer. Tyrese Halliburton. 10 to the Phoenix Suns. I think it's a great fit. I think it gives them a lot of versatility. When Chris Paul needs a break, we're running Tyrese and Devin. When Devin needs a break, we're running Chris Paul and Tyrese the same way he did with Shai, because that's his pro comp for me.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me a lot of Shy. My sleeper pick here, though, is Kyra Lewis from Alabama. And like I said before, don't be
Yeah.
shocked if Cole Anthony's here. Um, these are like I just think with Halliburton falling, if he falls to 10, there's no way they don't pick him up.
Yeah, 100%.
He definitely needs to get stronger. He's 6'5", 185.
That's right.
I know since COVID, like we might be almost 185 now, but like
That's rough.
that's really crazy. So he has potential. I like him. He can shoot the ball. He definitely is a very shy Gilgeous. That is a perfect pro comp. Like if you watch them play, they look like the exact same player. So
Yeah.
um, I think they'll finish it up, and I think it's time to get into sleepers.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna give you two off. I think one guy that I didn't have in my top 10 that you did was what the hell's his last name again? Patrick, whatever, from Florida State.
Patrick Williams.
Yeah, Patrick Williams. I think everything you said before, I think he could be a top 10 pick. I just didn't have him in mind. That's just the way it happens. Some guys fall. And I don't even know if it's falling for him. That's his range. I feel like 8 to 12.
He should be at the end of the lottery.
Yeah, like that's
his highest should be the Knicks. I mean, if if Atlanta goes crazy and just says go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's his range. I agree.
Some other guys I've been seeing that I don't know much about, but I see that teams like him is Alabama's point guard.
Yeah, Kyra Lewis.
Kyra Lewis. I don't know much about him, but I've seen a lot of teams like him. And then the boy from Villanova, Sadiq Bey.
Sadiq Bey.
Yeah, I've seen good things about him. I've seen him in mocks at like 12, 13, 11. So those are guys I keep my eye on that a team maybe at 8, like the Knicks, reach up for.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a few sleepers too. I'm gonna name because I have a bunch. I agree. You had Devin Vassell in your top 10. I think he would be a reach in the top 10 from what I've seen, but he doesn't look bad.
Yeah,
he could be a lottery pick probably towards the end of that. We already mentioned Kyra Lewis. We already mentioned Cole Anthony.
Oh, I forgot Cole Anthony, UNC product. I cannot hate on Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Freak athlete, has the ability to shoot threes. UNC had a shitty year when he was there.
And that wasn't all on him. I don't like that he fell this far because of that.
We had problems all over the court. He was our best player. So, him or Garrison Brooks, but he was our most talented player. I like him a lot too.
Right. So then another guy I think we're sleeping on is Tyrese Maxey. He gives me kind of a Lou Will comp. I think he'd be a great fit in Sacramento. Precious Achua, we should mention he really did good in Memphis after James Wiseman went down.
Very athletic.
Very, very, very talented guy. He is a good fit. People have said Aaron Nesmith, but I don't really know about him either. Vernon Carey, Josh Green, and my sleeper for the second round, my most excited sleeper.
Oh, I know who you're gonna say. Let me guess, because I think I know.
I'm waiting.
Miles Powell.
Oh no, but I do love Miles Powell too. I think he'd be a good fit. I just think he's in a weird spot because he's like a 6'1" guard. He might be 6'2", but he's a small guard and that doesn't really have a role.
Hey, Lou Williams is 6'2", 6'1" at best, filling it up. Miles Powell is a bucket, can shoot. Tom Izzo said, I don't even think God could guard him. The kid is a bucket getter.
He is a bucket.
If you're a late first rounder and he's not gone, pick that kid up. If you're a contender and need some shooting or some scoring, I think he's a good pick.
I can see it. I think he needs more seasoning, but my guy, Fred VanVleet Jr., Marcus Howard out of Marquette. I think Marcus Howard is a bucket. And he's only 5'11", but we've seen guys like him before. And Fred VanVleet is a perfect comp for me. I really think he is, bro. Do I need to get the duffel bag? I don't know if I do, but we'll see.
He's got it.
He's got it, man. But I hope everyone tunes in on Wednesday. We're gonna watch
We'll
mock
see
draft.
who gets more correct.
Yeah, we'll do that. Comment and subscribe, especially if you are interested in us going live via Instagram, maybe even YouTube. We don't know. We're looking at that idea. That was our original idea, but we're gonna play it safe for y'all. We're gonna get you the video first. All right. We don't know. We're not gonna experiment until we know what we're doing. All right.
100%. We're not the most tech savvy people, so
We're not.
we gotta make it work. All right.
Right. And also expect future episodes starting, I want to say starting near December. We might be going to Apple Podcasts and stuff like that. So stay tuned on our Instagram at Brofluent. As you can see, it's probably in the bottom over there. I'm not sure where I'm gonna put it. We'll see where this is pointing later.
Yeah.
But hey, I
Yeah,
think
man.
that's good to wrap it up, man.
We'll be back probably next time with football.
Of course.
We're not getting football this week because we're so pumped about everything going on with the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be talking football. My Colts got a big game coming up this weekend against the Green Bay Packers.
My Jets didn't lose to the bye week.
Yeah. That's a good week for the Jet fans.
Good week for the Jets. We didn't lose this week, baby. All right.
Hey. So tune in, man. We're doing our thing. Let's go.
Yes, sir. All right. So signing out. Catch y'all later. Deuces.